So y'all get to kind of learn with me. I was thinking about, what I had said regarding the concept of being good. Like someone being a good person, that's a good person. And that the concept of good is very subjective, right? Like I imagine that, for example, a whole bunch of people at a MAGA rally, they wouldn't feel frightened. They wouldn't feel ashamed. They wouldn't feel fear. They would feel brotherhood and camaraderie, right? It would feel really good, wouldn't it? So this concept of goodness is a slippery one. And it's a concept that I'm just now realizing wields so much power in white supremacy. Because you cannot prove your goodness. You cannot prove your worth. You can't. It is impossible. Because again, your goodness, your worth, it's just a made up concept and perception. But what if we based every fucking rule in white supremacy around the concept of our goodness, right? Our supremacy. So wouldn't we constantly be feeling the need and the urge to be fucking performative at all times? Yeah. Yes, it absolutely would. Because again, this stupid fucking concept that Bush Sr. did. Either you're with us, you're not senior, junior. Either you're with us or against us. Fuck you, dude. Like, set us back. Asshole. Asshole mosquitoes. Vampires. Might they be? Anyway. So, yeah, if we're saying we're supreme, we mean supreme in all things, right? Goodness being one of them. And goodness being one of those things we're constantly needing people to prove to us that they're good. Where's your blue wristband? Who'd you vote for? Because as I learned this concept from Carolyn Mace, again, if you don't know who she is, Google her. Last name spelled M-Y-S-S. Is that this is a paradox. It's I forget what she calls it, but it's like a paradox of humanity. Basically like finding your way back to humanity. A lot of people right now are saying, I don't like other people. Listen, we've never liked other people. Ever. When you think about your life and just random people that you see anywhere, grocery store, driving, whatever, doesn't matter. Do you trust them? Do you inherently just trust them? No. That's why we have to take defensive driving, right? Because we don't trust these bitches out here. We don't. And yet the paradox is that we're constantly seeking out connection. That despite this inherent distrust of every other human on the planet, somehow, some way, we delude ourselves into forgetting that we don't trust inherently any human and seek out these connections, right? So, when we're trying to seek these connections, we are always in this relatively back and forth battle of prove your goodness to me, prove that you are good to me, prove that you are good for me, prove that we're a good fit, prove it, right? And that's always going to be a subjective sort of thing, the proof that you are given. And if you are not given that proof, then you deem that person is not good, right? The proof that you gave me is not the good proof that I actually was looking for, that I actually wanted to enter into this binding agreement with you. You aren't good enough for me, right? But yet we keep coming around and around to it again. All right, now, back to this supreme bullshit. Back to this, we've got to be the best at being good. We have to be the best at being good. Okay, so we're gonna have to pretend like we're throwing out a bunch of evidence to the contrary, right? So that's where a lot of this performative stuff comes up with, but also what I figured out with the concept of goodness, how white supremacy, and very, very specifically the patriarchal part, the patriarchal part of white supremacy, is that everything is based on you've got to be showing that you're good the entire time. And so everything is under scrutiny as a question of impropriety. Think about it, white people, especially when you're starting to question some of this shit. I think I'm going to post blah, blah, blah. Are you sure you should do that? There's a question of impropriety there. There's a question that you're doing something socially harmful, right? That what you are doing is not for the benefit of anyone. This is a question of impropriety. Well, I don't want to invite Uncle John over for Thanksgiving because he's a racist, sexist piece of shit. If you do that, that's just opening the entire family up for so much pain. And do you really think you should do that? It's a question of impropriety. And it knocks us back into line because, again, we're deluded into thinking that we have to be constantly proving our goodness to some micro-peniled, one-planet-caring motherfucker. Or fatherfucker. I should say that. Crush, 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 crush. So, when you are trying to prove your goodness, white person, I want to ask you, prove it to whom? And why dost thou need to proveth thyself in that person's eyes? Why is it necessary? Will your goodness stop if it is not validated? Does that mean that your goodness will not be able to continue? Does that mean you have to have the cookie? If you don't get a cookie, are you just going to stop trying? If nobody sees your efforts, are you just going to sit down and have a fucking pity party like white people are wont to do? And it's all a question of impropriety. Why are you doing that? Do you think that's a good idea? I don't know. And it's all these subtle, ambiguous things. And the reason why I know that these questions of impropriety are hooks is because there isn't anything actually wrong going on. Like, when you see someone who is about to make a mistake that's going to hurt somebody, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? There's urgency, right? Like, your whole body compels you to step in the way of what this person is about to do, right? Like, someone is about to put an ice cube on a hot light bulb. You don't, in your most demure voice, go, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Do you think you should? I don't know that I would. Are you going to do that? Because you know what's going to happen if you do that. This son of a bitch can put that ice cube on that hot bulb, and that hot glass is going to go into your fucking face because you were being obtuse about it. Right? Like, questions of impropriety, that's just like basically sniffing around for a fart. That's questions of impropriety. And then trying to put blame. Like, that really, questions of impropriety just kind of feel like fart sniffing to me. But that is how white supremacy keeps it all on lock. If someone's actually going to do something terrible, they're about to take a baseball bat to a puppy. What the fuck are you doing? You are, right? That is a hard line, right? If you're going to be asking a question, you're asking the question while you're stepping in to move the fucking thing. If you think it is wrong, if you think it is dangerous, your body moves with what you're talking about. When you're being an agent of white supremacy and just going, oh, I don't know, that really seems like you're... Are you saying that Trump is like Hitler? Oh, that's so lazy. You're better than that, aren't you? I mean, to make such a base statement. I thought you were better than that. Questions of impropriety can eat my ass. And not in a good way. Like in a one situation. Don't look it up. If you don't know, you do not want to know. If you got that reference, it stays with us, right? Oh, that's a really good example. That's a really good example. Okay. So that I was saying, that if you get that, you know that the person who came up to you and said, hey, do you want to watch this video? Fair warning, you'll never be able to unsee it. You know that that person was a devil. You know that that person was a devil, and that you did not need to see that, and that nobody else needs to see it, right? And so you are going to take it to your fucking grave, right? Right. If you know, you know. Do not Google it. Shh, 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 shh. This is not like Fight Club at all. This is just something that dies with our mortal bodies. Do you understand? So that understanding that you have, that something like that out there exists, again, it dies with your mortal body. That's like white supremacy. Do you see? So you can't do a thing. Not a thing. You can't breathe at the same time that it breathes, because that's getting passed on, right? Because that is your intimate knowledge of that disgusting thing that never needs to see the light of day, right? It's just like that. We're just going to work really hard that that knowledge and understanding, much like that video of the don't Google it, don't pass it on, much like that, it will die with us. I just need to make that solemn swear, please. Let that thing die with us. Do you understand? Okay. So, like, that is doing something that you know is right. Right? If any of y'all are out there going, but I don't know, that really feels like censorship. Do you really think you should be censoring the American and otherwise person's ability to look up content that they
would like to make up their own minds if they would like to watch it or not.
Question of impropriety. Like, that shit right there is white supremacy level shit right there. Because if you know what you have in your head is fucking evil, you keep it to yourself and God, not the little dick God. Okay? Okay. So, I was about to do a double negative. Let yourself not be led. Listen, that sounds like some biblical bullshit. Don't go falling for these people who try to direct you with their questions of impropriety. If it was really, really, really important, they would scream and jump at you. Okay? So anybody who just does that white person stuff of, do you think that type of behavior needs to die with us as well? Can we agree to that one? Okay. So, right, these questions of impropriety are the way that white supremacy keeps very specifically white women in their roles as the guardians of the white men. And if you don't think that you are the fucking guardians of white men, I don't know how you found your way here, honestly. And I am definitely not going to explain that one, because oh no, you wouldn't have made it this far. I don't think. No, you don't. Oh no, ladies. Okay, all right. If that needs to be my next one, that needs to be my next one. But the other thing you need to understand is that's how we've all been, especially if you are white mothers to white sons. That business, the whole Okay, we don't need to be creating more white men who have to have it particular ways out there and who do the little You're keeping them so protected in the white supremacy bubble when you continue to do shit like that. So stop that shit. If it's a problem, you will feel it because your body will move you. So you need to start moving forward in things like that. Like if your son comes home and tells a sexist joke, it's not, oh, okay, well, honey, it's what the fuck? Like the energy needs to match. Okay, your kids can handle it, trust me. If they're coming home and telling their mother a sexist joke, they can handle you going, what the fuck? Because it needs to be that level. Because the white supremacy level of the tiny little, and it's like these little alchemy spells, because there's enough ambiguity in there that your brain just goes, and it creates anxiety, and the anxiety, you want to make the anxiety stop, and so your brain goes back to the last thing it can remember, and the last thing it can remember is your mom just looked at you when you were going to make that post about queer rights and trans rights and people's rights throughout the world, and that love is the answer, and she looks at you and she goes, it's so close to the holiday season, can you not, honey, please? Questions of impropriety. See? It's like magic. There's nothing so influential, right? Because if you found that, you know, your anxieties be like, well, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that if it's going to cause me this much anxiety? I'm not going to post it. Fuck. Okay, Mom. God, jeez. No, this is what I mean by being a menace. I'm fucking posting. Oh, bam. Right? Because again, you have urgency in there. Your body says, I'm going to post it. Your body says, I'm going to go to that march. How many people did not go to a single march or go to a march that they wanted to because all of the white people around them were like, oh my God, oh, it's so dangerous. Do you really need to go? You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a human being who can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Right? Again, if you were like, hey Mom, I'm gonna go to this protest where we're all going to be covered in weapons of mass destruction and we're gonna peacefully protest with all of our loaded weaponry, that's going to not be a subtle, demure, going to try and lightly anxiety you out of that idea. Right? So you can always spot it when you're actually doing something that needs somebody in your social circle to step in and fucking stop you. Because there's urgency in it. White supremacy does not want there to be any evidence left behind that I said anything about that. I didn't tell you not to go. No. I didn't tell you not to go. I just said that me personally finds that you going to a Black Lives Matter protest, you're a mother, okay, and a wife, okay, and you have people who need you and love you and depend on you, and honestly, I just feel that it is selfish of you, just as an individual. I mean, people can go. And that's what I'm saying, is other people are going to be there. Like, it's like the march is going to happen whether you're there or not. And honestly, I'm just saying that I think it's a little bit selfish of you. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Yes. You see how seamless that is? Off the cuff. Like, that is exactly what I would do if I didn't want someone to go to a protest. That's exactly what I would do. I would play on all of your greatest fears. I would prey on the exact reason why you are going to the protest in the first place is because you are a loving human being who doesn't want anybody to be hurt. And I'm going to play on that exact fear. And that is what white supremacy does. And that is how its little questions of impropriety keep you in place, because you believe that you have to prove that you are good. And you forget that there is no such thing as a good person. Same concept as justice. Justice does not exist anywhere except here. If you expect to get justice in this plane out here, you're not going to get it. Justice and goodness are just concepts of the mind, but they don't actually exist. How's everybody feeling? Hopefully you feel better now knowing that you don't have to prove your goodness to anyone. And let me pause it right here, because again, if any of you motherfuckers are like, well, if I don't have to prove my goodness, then I guess I could just go doing whatever the fuck I want, I will find you. And you need to pause this shit and get the fuck into therapy, because that ain't it. If you think me saying that the concept of goodness means that you are now morally bereft of humanity, get the fuck off of my channel and come back when you're healed, and then we'll go along. Because again, anyone saying that because the concept of goodness cannot be proven, because the concept of justice cannot be proven, because the concept of God cannot be proven, does that mean that, again, you're gonna run around like moralless fuckwads? Because if you think, back to the proof, right? Proof of goodness, right? If you think you have to have fucking proof to know right from wrong, you ain't ready for this level of work, my cockazoid. Okie dokie, right? This is the difference between me going, oh, do you think you should really be here? I don't know. This is me jumping in front of you going, you're going to fucking hurt yourself if you continue watching me. If that is a difficult fucking concept for you to come up with, if you think that all of the humans came before your micro penis god didn't know that they shouldn't go around murdering, raping, stealing, all of that, if you think that none of those humans, that the concept ever fucking crossed their mind until your micro penis god came onto this planet, get the fuck off my channel, because I'm going to hurt you. That's not a threat. My concepts, my ideas will physically hurt you. And because you're in ego, you will take it all personally. And then you'll get really fucking mad. And then you're gonna think that I fucking care, that you're fucking mad. And then you're gonna do this. Which again, go ahead, but that will just be proving my point that you still have too much ego in being white to be here right now. Because if you can't grasp the concept of understanding the difference between right or wrong without any written, again, because white supremacy loves shit that is written, again, because it's proof of goodness. Right? You do not have to have something written down or pounded into a tablet to know that it's a bad fucking idea to go over to that human over there and punch him in the face, or to go grab that person's baby and smash its skull in. Are you fucking kidding me? Right? You see the difference between... I'm actually stepping in because there's some harm about to be caused, and do you see the difference in how each one of them feels too? Like, where did you actually feel most of that power? In this simpering, trying to play, or this protector that is saying, stop it. Right? It may feel threatening for someone to say stop, but it got your attention. This shit's ambiguous. This shit is not. Don't be this, be this. And again, if you're this, you won't have to have any kind of proof on you that you're good. If you want to buy a blue bracelet, go ahead. But it won't prove anything to anyone other than you are trying to prove your goodness to others. And honestly, the people that you're trying to prove your goodness to are going to cringe when they see that. Because it's more like this over here. Right? So what I know, because this opportunity doesn't seem to come up too much for you. And when you're over here, you're still craving cookies. When you're over here, you're just vibing with, I will do what is right because I know what is right. And I am walking in the light of the actual God. And I'm not going to hurt anybody. But someone's ego running into me will very likely hurt themselves. So, stop with the white supremacy concept that you have to prove your worth, you have to prove that you are good, you have to prove that you are kind, you have to prove that you are empathetic and all of that. Like, Christians are the best at this. Like, they will remind you on the daily how giving they are, right? Whilst people in literally every other religion, literally every other religion, part of them giving back to the community and giving to charities and being, of giving, one of the things is that's just what you do. You don't have to talk about it. That's just part of who you are. Right? But Christians always have to prove. I gotta prove it. Gotta have crosses all over the fucking place. And isn't it funny that they're the most vampiric of all the vampires and they have crosses everywhere? And if that doesn't tell you a fucking thing about how absolutely worthless the micro-penis gods are at dealing with these demons, I don't know what better optic than that. You are wearing crosses all over you. You have an American flag cape and underwear set. Right? You're adorned with it all. And yet, the demon just is feeding off of you constantly, because it's not that your God has abandoned you. It's just, this isn't a God. It's just a man. So you also don't have to prove your goodness to God, because if you realize that you aren't shackled by the concepts of a man and all of the little ways that it tries to control you through these questions of impropriety, then it's not going to bother you. You're going to be nonplussed, my bitches. It's getting hot out here, do you see? Oh my God, I'm getting so hot. And I'm getting hot not because I'm doing something that what? How would you conjugate that? I guess it would just be improper. Would it just be improper? Oh, that even makes it... Ew. Oh, now I like it even less. Are you being improper? Oh my God. That's why I hate all those, like, British period shows. Because it's all of the impropriety of the fucking white supremacy that just... I'm glad y'all love Bridgerton, but I just can't fucking stand it. Everybody just walking around in these ridiculous clothes, using these ridiculous standards and shit that just fucking reek of white supremacy, and I don't want to watch it anymore. Question my impropriety, bitches. Well, that's actually a better ending than butter your cookie, but I don't know. Go out there and be improper. My loves. How do I turn this off? Where's the... I'm so old. I gotta turn it off. Oh my god. Oh my god. There. And see, I'm not even gonna edit that out just to show you that you can do things and look weird. And it's gonna be fine. Okay? Be improper. Who the